What's up, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing our best shot at a budget oil pan setup. And by budget I mean we're using the truck oil pan. We're going to be making this baby race car ready by welding aluminum 10AN bungs on it for the turbo oil drains. And I'm going to go ahead and do two because you never know. I mean, one may mess up and you just don't want to leave yourself out, so we're going to weld an extra one on, more towards the back of the pan, one towards the front of the pan. And there's a few things to consider when doing this instead of just zipping a hole in the oil pan and TIG welding them on. And we're about to go over that. And just to let you guys know, I have done this in the past without welding, and you can buy the MPT and just drill and tap your pan, and you can do it on the car. But you have to use a lot of grease on your drill bit and your tap and drill very slow, and you'll receive about 90% of the shavings. And you're not going to get them all. You can flush your oil pan best you can, but like I said, you're not going to get them all, but it may be a better option than pulling your oil pan off. And then you just tap it to the MPT size and thread it in, and you're good to go. This is very thin stuff. It's thinner than it looks, but it will, if you're very careful with it, you'll be successful. I know because I've done it. But let's get to what we're doing today. Let me go over a few things with y'all. So the first thing to consider is, well, there's a lot of first things to consider. One is, where is your accessories going to be? Are you going to be in the way of your air conditioner? Are you going to have exhaust here? Are you going to have, is your K-member in the way? Is the steering in the way? Where's your turbo going to be? There's lots of things to consider. I've kind of considered all that, and just kind of a generic place to put them, is going to be kind of up here on the side and back here on the side. I've put them up here in the front before and been successful with that. There is your pickup tube does kind of run down right here though, so you have to keep that in mind. But first things first, the biggest thing that you've got to consider is your oil level. This is where your pan is going to be. This is where your oil level is going to be at 5 quarts, and that's with the engine not running. With the engine running, of course, you're going to have oil being pumped through the crankshaft, the main bearings, the rod bearings, lifter valley. It's going to be up and all on the valve train. That there's not going to be 5 quarts of oil down here. I don't know what there will be, but there will not be 5. So pretty much any place from the bottom right here where this pan goes, it meets the sump, anywhere here up is going to be good. But just for reference, here is where you're at. Let's get a measurement real quick. So on a Gen 4 LS, it looks like about 2 3/8 from your pan rail down is where 5 quarts of oil is going to be, the top of your oil with the engine not running. So where I'm going to put my primary drain is right here. I've already cleaned it up best I can. I've still got to drill it, of course, and hit it with some degreaser, acetone if I've got some. That's the kind of the go-to thing is acetone, because it doesn't leave behind any, chemicals or anything like that you have to worry about inhaling, and it cleans very well. So this is going to be our primary spot. Our secondary is going to be right here. And why I'm putting it there, I really don't know. I just feel like that's another good flat spot. One thing you got to consider is you got to be able to get your TIG torch all the way around here and fill it, all at the same time. So what I'm gonna do next is we'll get you guys set up on a time lapse. We'll get this thing drilled, and we'll get it drilled to this countersink. That way this bung is countersunk in here, and then we'll clean it, and we'll get this baby welded up. So just like I was saying earlier, we had to, I just used a stepper bit to drill this out. This has got a boss on it right here. that'll kind of self-align right there. We've cleaned this area real well, as well as here. And this is gonna be our primary one. And so I'm gonna start with a secondary one. And somebody who's smart would have got him a test piece of aluminum, you know, and kind of at least laid it. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not the best aluminum welder, TIG welder altogether really. But this ended up going in a little bit better than I thought it would have. I did get a lot of porosity, but I also didn't have any acetone to clean this thing with. I just kind of went at it with what degreaser I had. And I went pretty light on that because, you know, I'm always kind of cautious of breathing in those chemicals that, you know, the degreaser leaves. So that's kind of why it turned out like it did, but I'm pretty confident it's not going to leak. I mean, it's, you know, it's so-so. All right, so we got this thing welded on, and I'll be honest with you, it looks pretty rough. It's not the nice, shiny stack of dimes I hope you was expecting. Hope you wasn't expecting. I started, of course, right in here. This thing started to go my way. But as you can see, that's only about 30% at best. So, appreciate y'all watching. And like I said earlier, you do not have to weld these in. I have done it before with just tapping it, drilling and tapping the oil pan. And you can also, if you have the oil pan off, you can use a bulkhead connector. You know, where you have the nut on the inside, you have a through barb, and then the nut that screws on it and clamps it all together. That would have been much easier than this, but this is permanent. You don't have to worry about it leaking. That's why I went this route. And another thing, we did get our engine all the way tore down and got the cylinders cleaned up. One's got some pitting in it right here. I promise when I get to 1,000 subscribers, guys, I'm gonna buy new lights. It's got some pitting right here in the top. Other than that, I just gotta pressure wash it one more time and we'll be ready to put it back together. I did order some new rings because these rings were just, if you look, there's not much of a gap right here. That means they've lost their spring tension. This is the bottom ring versus the top ring. I don't know how hot this thing's got in the past, but I don't want to chance it. I am going to reuse the pistons, and they all seem good. Two of the rings were stuck. Two of the top rings on two different pistons were stuck to the point I had to use a map gas torch to heat them up to get them out. So, but other than that, everything seems good with this unit. I really didn't realize, one thing I didn't realize is when like I said in the previous video, all I've ever run is Gen 4 stuff. I didn't realize you had to get a new timing cover because of the cam sensor, you know. So I did find one of those, ordered it from Michigan Motorsports. I've ordered a few things from them. They've got some really good prices on stuff. And matter of fact, that's where I'm getting the rings too. I'm getting just a $50 set of Molly rings, pretty much stock replacement stuff. But anyways, appreciate y'all guys tuning in. Don't forget to catch the next one. We'll be getting this engine more assembled than it is now. And be one step closer to getting this thing running, guys. Have a good one.